I got soul. I'm super bad. I'm just saying, if you listen to the last podcast, The Three-Headed Monster, we talk about it all starts with soul. You gotta have soul. Watch me. Okay, all James Brown jokes aside, this podcast is going to be revolving around a book. The book is Good to Great. I absolutely recommend it. This book is one of the things that started me on my journey of being addicted to audiobooks. So I absolutely recommend it. I want you to go buy the book. Go grab it now. Write it down on a note. Just make sure that you at some point experience this book. I'm going to give you today one of the concepts in the book that absolutely changed my life. And this is when I started digging into my company to really try to change its trajectory. So here we go. This is the bus concept. Probably one of the most amazing team building tools, team building concepts that I've ever come across. And this is what changed my company profoundly. So the idea is, think of your company as a bus, and you've got to be very careful on who you let on this bus. Because now your company could be an actual physical place. It could be your online store. It could be your personal brand. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're an author. Maybe you're a motivational speaker. Maybe you're a storefront owner. Maybe you're a digital marketer. Doesn't matter. Just think of anything that you're trying to build that involves a team as a bus. Now, we've got to be very careful on who we let on this bus. And so let's just really break this down for a second. Always, always, always make sure that the only people you let on your bus are people who get on the bus because of who is on the bus, not because of where the bus is going. So think about it. This is those people who try to latch on and do the coattail riding and all of those things. When they start seeing success, they come out of the woodwork and they want to get on your bus because they think the bus is going somewhere that they can't go by themselves. But here's what I'm trying to ask you. What happens if the bus breaks down or it takes the scenic route? Now, all of a sudden, you've got a bunch of people on your bus who are pissed off because they're not going to where they thought they were going to get to go with you. Now, think about it. If all of these people get on the bus because of who is on the bus, well, let's say we get a flat tire. Now, all of a sudden, everyone loves one another. Everyone thinks everyone's a rock star, and we're just excited because great people go great places. Everyone gets off the bus and changes the tire with one another. We get out of the mud with one another. We change that oil. We repair the engine with one another. Because if you're loving who you're around all the time. I mean, they say you're a product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So when I'm looking around, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel pretty good. I love the people that I'm spending the time with because they got on my bus. I got on their bus because of who's on the bus. And we go great places. But that chemistry didn't happen overnight. Relationships don't happen overnight. Now, this could be a friendship. This could be a marriage. It could be a business relationship, business partnership. Doesn't matter. But they don't happen overnight. They're hard work. But when you know that someone's great, and I call this the proximity of greatness. So there's a lot of people who challenge me in my life. And going back to the 3 kinds of people in your life, number 1, people who need to get out of your life. Number 2, stepping stones in your life. Number 3, cornerstones in your life. Now, cornerstones are going to be those people who have that greatness inside of them. But they're going to be people who challenge you. They're going to be people who make you better. They're going to be people that you can build with or off of. So you need to realize that when you get that proximity of greatness, you don't always recognize it immediately. And sometimes getting all of those great people, maybe you're just really great at collecting great people, getting them on the bus with those great egos and those great talents and the great eccentricities isn't the easiest thing. So you've got to choose about who's getting on the bus. Because, I mean, think about it. If you let 6 drivers get on the bus, how's that going to go? Well, maybe you can drive all night, but you're more liable to let them drive you off a cliff. You have to have the tip of the sword, the person with the vision who is leading the way. And then you've got to build a great team who have that greatness inside of them, but share that common vision. They want to get on the same bus. So often, we are trying to collect people from the same kind of greatness. Now, don't get me wrong, entrepreneurs are very special people. For all intents and purposes, they're people who are going and trying to fight a tank with a knife. You have to be borderline crazy to be an entrepreneur. So imagine what happens if you try to collect a bunch of full, purebred entrepreneurs and put them on one bus. It's like herding cats or nailing Jello to a wall. So I want you to look at greatness as different kinds, not different levels, because an entrepreneur is not necessarily better or worse than another kind of greatness. A true entrepreneur needs all of the other kinds of greatness so that he can really take his journey and take his journey far. But we let these other people on our bus, these other kinds of greatness. Now, if another entrepreneur gets on your bus, I need you to understand all he's doing is biding his time until he can create his own bus. That's who entrepreneurs are. But you can be an intrapreneur and have that entrepreneur mindset inside the company and be absolutely great. You can be something that is an exponential factor in making the company great because of who you are inside the company. Doesn't mean you're any less or any more. Same thing with these entrepreneurs. Just because they started doesn't mean they're more important. Sometimes they use that I started it, so they're actually detrimental to forward progress. So just to bring this home and hammer this concept in so that you really understand, there are so many kinds of greatness. You just don't want to stack too far in one direction. You need a good balance of all the things that make a company great. And when you run into the same kind of greatness, say that you're the entrepreneur, you meet another entrepreneur. I'm not saying don't talk to him or be threatened. I'm just saying he doesn't need to be on your bus because he's got his own bus. Keep him as a contact. Maybe sometimes you guys can have a convoy going down the road. You can really do something together. But never try to control a wild animal. And that's what an entrepreneur is. It's just not a good idea. But by the same token, if you get a bunch of bean counters, you're going to be way too conservative. You're never going to be able to expand and do something great. But if you get too many people who are on the entrepreneur side, you're going to run yourself off of a cliff. That's why the balance is so important with who you're spending your time with, who make decisions in your company, and who you accept advice from. When it was only me accepting my own advice, I ran myself off a cliff multiple times. My wife was the first staple that I had where we always say that I'm the kite, she's the anchor. And you need people like that because we make each other better. She brings me more conservative. I bring her more like an entrepreneur. And so she got on my bus. And what happens when you really accept someone on your bus, it has to, in everyone's heart, everyone who gets to get on the bus, that needs to become everyone's bus. It's not just the entrepreneur's bus. And entrepreneurs who do that my way or the highway thing just means they're immature. Or they have the wrong people on their bus because they're constantly trying to course correct everyone around them. If you're an entrepreneur and you feel like you're constantly trying to course correct people and get them on your vision, maybe you just have the wrong people on your bus. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're stepping in and stepping on your people, maybe you need to step back and let them drive the bus a little bit and be a part of the bus and take ownership in the bus. Because that's when you're going to be able to have a long journey as a company and go very great and far places. All right, thank you so much for listening to this take that I have on a Jim Collins concept and the way that it applied to me. There are so many more great concepts in that book. I highly recommend it. Go grab it. Come back tomorrow. Come check out our podcast. This has just been such an amazing thing that I'm doing, and the fact that anyone listens to this just means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. This has been The Final Percent.